I might have forgot to do a game of the show.
Just pick one.
I'll just pick one.
Okay.
Okay, what are we doing?
We're just gonna briefly, like, not do like full break because we're already way over time.
Yeah.
But so my first games that I'm excited about from top games from the show are actually twofold. I'm cheating already. We were gonna pick our top three, and
He always does this.
I picked two for my first one because they're both platformers and they both speak to different parts of my platforming loving heart.
But the thing is, you picked an arbitrary number to be top 3, but you could have just made it top 4 because you actually had a top
I didn't
4.
want to add too much more time.
But you're gonna talk about both of them
No,
anyway.
not that long though.
You're just in your head.
No.
You're being silly.
So the first one for me is Unsent. I love a Psychonauts. The vibes. Oh, it's not showing anymore.
Uh-oh.
Pull it back. Pull it back. There it goes. Why is it down there? The first one for me is Unsent. Again, Psychonauts vibes. There was some really good movement. You know, I think that's part of what you're saying when you say I made it look good. It was really just flying through the scene, but it was the writing that really spoke to me. There was just lots of really funny bits. Like, again, you came from the back breaking office where you quit because they asked you to break a grandma's back because their grandson stepped on a crack. And you were like, I don't want to do that. And so, like, just like little silly things like that. The writing was just so perfect. And then again, combined with some really good movement. But on the other more pure movement side, the pure vibe side, my other game in this category is Bubsy 4D. Because the joke right now with Bubsy 4D is that it is going to be the first good Bubsy game, and I think it's true. The platforming is so fucking, oh, it feels so good. It's very horizontally based, where, like, you know, a Super Mario 64 is kind of more vertical with the flipping and the double jumps and the triple jumps. This is kind of more like, it's a lot of the pouncing that Bubsy can do, right? It's just pouncing forward, and that was kind of the vibe of a lot of the movement. You can balloon up into a ball and like go down ramps and stuff in a way that's really fun. And it really felt so good, which is like the last thing you expect from what feels like it could just be like a meme game, you know? It was very funny when I was talking to Jason, the producer over there at Atari. I was like, how do you feel about the fact that people are calling this the first good Bubsy game? And so Atari, this version of Atari, I don't know, you can look into it. There's a lot of kind of lore behind what Atari is doing now. That, you know, they acquired the rights to Bubsy, so they didn't make any of the past games, and so, like, this is the first one in the series for them. So they're like, what do you think? How do you think we are? That's great. What other reaction do you think we would want? Do you want the reaction to be, oh, it's the same old bad Bubsy, oh, gotta love it, you know? Like, that's amazing. That's the best response I could get.
Like, do you want us to be like, oh, Bubsy was always great?
Yeah, that'd be a lie, you know. He said it. And so thought it was really fun. It was a really fun chat we had with Jason over there. And I was kind of the part that I liked, I was still schmoovin' the whole time I was chatting. I was still going. Stardew. This is just going through video game soundtracks now. And Bubsy is one of my games, and then my second one is second one.
That's 3.
Is one that happened towards the end of the show, and that is Terrible Lizards. Kind of a platforming focused vibe from me, but I just really love the energy of this. They are inspired by Mirror's Edge, but they said they didn't want it to feel like Mirror's Edge because Mirror's Edge is a little more weighty and a little more heavy. And again, I don't want to say too much because we are going to be actively covering this one, so keep an eye out for that. But what I said to them, and they were like, I like that, which was that it reminded me of like classic CS surf maps, because there's a floatiness they add to the character that they purposely put in so that you can like save yourself off some bad jumps or whatever it might be. There's like a lightness to the character that they wanted to add in, and it reminded me of those old school surf maps that I used to play. And it's a really exciting one where it's got great theming, is something that I really love. Yeah, hell yeah, CS Surf. Where like there's all these posters laying around that are just like perfectly themed to the dinosaur aesthetic and vibes. And like I said, blending the mascot horror of today's like big push with like classic, as you can see in the back there, that's the creature that gets you at the end of the demo. And I'll this is a right now exclusive for everyone here. That thing opens up its mouth and inside is a person's face. Creepy.
Pretty creepy.
Dinosaur hybrid shit. But my game of PAX West 2025 is, drum roll please. You didn't know where to go. There you go. It's Fractured Blooms.
Nice.
Our article will be coming out, so again, I don't want to spend too much time, but this game truly has a wild energy to it. So it is a game that is a part life sim, part farming sim, part psychological horror. They play with the juxtaposition of those ideas a lot. The first day that you play in the game, it kind of has like a time loop vibe, so it's kind of got that kind of PT-ish energy. It's just a straightforward, you're just doing chores, there's a voice in your head, it's your voice, I assume, kind of guiding you through your daily chores. So you water the plants, you plant some new seeds, you till the soil, you know, and it's there's this kind of like lazy kind of lilt to the voice in your head. And then on the second day you wake up and you start going through your day, and that same voice is back saying the same thing, and then suddenly a second voice cuts in and is like, don't listen to her. And suddenly you have these two voices, and the first voice is still going through the same script as everything that happened, but now there's a second voice that's layering on top and like kind of messing with you and you can choose to ignore it. There's when I got back to pick the seeds to plant, they said, don't plant the potatoes, plant the flowers instead. And I was like, oh, okay. And I did. I planted the flowers. And then you get up to the house, you're about to go do the cooking, you get on the porch. Suddenly there's a camera view of someone looking down at you on the porch from above. And you're like, you cut back to control, you look up, you don't see anything. But then as you start to try to walk into the house, you hear tuk, 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 on the roof above you. And you're now inside and you're doing your cooking for the day. And you hear that same whatever trying to get into the house the whole time you're cooking. And so you're hearing the door rattling, you're hearing the windows, you're hearing the banging on the walls, and the voices cutting back and forth in your head. TV goes off, you got to find the remote while you're also trying to cook, and you have to do all this within a time limit, and it suddenly becomes this like horrifying thing. And we had a great chat with Z. Article's gonna have all this. I got a little flowery with this one.
I love it when you do that.
And this is, yeah, the rage room just booming in my ears too. Yeah,
Yeah.
No, exactly. But no, this has got the juice 100%, and we are desperate for more. The one little tidbit I'll add towards the end that I thought was really interesting was, so we knew Nicole Goodnight was involved in this project. But again, there's multiple voices that you hear in the game, right? So I was like, oh, I wonder if those are both Nicole, if Nicole's one or the other, and there's another voice actor involved. Let's go back before the end of the show and confirm with the people at Serenity Forge. So we went up to our contact and we were like, hey, can you let us know? So I know Nicole Goodnight's involved. Is she the voice of blah, blah, blah? And the person just went, nah, Nicole's here, but
They said,
I don't know. And I said, huh? And she said, yeah, she's involved, but beyond that, I don't know. And I thought that was really fun and kind of just added even more to the mystery of this game, that they're being purposely cryptic about Nicole's exact involvement and how the voicing works in this one. So I thought that was really cool. But that is my game of the show. Truly, yeah. I could not stop thinking about it when people asked us all throughout the week, like, what was your favorite thing that you played? What was it? I kept going, you gotta check out Fractured Blooms. You gotta check out Fractured Blooms. So that's it. That goes to you too. If you end up going to PAX East, if you end up going wherever and they're there, you gotta check out Fractured Blooms. That's my picks from the show. Suddenly getting an urge to go kill a princess for some reason. Yeah, they on day 2, Serenity Forge had the Slay the Princess devs on site. So there was a long line over there for people to try and get autographs.
All right, my turn.
Yeah, you're gonna go backwards or forwards? Because which one's your number one?
I guess this one. Then we can both talk about it.
Which one?
This one.
That's your number one. Your game of show.
I think. And then
Okay.
we can both talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So start here.
Blah, blah, blah. Remember that one that I said we're gonna come back to it?
Locating, navigating, wayfinding. Okay. So first of all, it was like day 3. It was night 3. We were sort of like I looked through the PAX app to just be like, is there anything here that we're missing that like we just totally overlooked? And we did, and it was kind of this entire publisher, Black Lantern Collective. Like, I think we walked by this specific section like one time. We were right next to them constantly because they were Critical Reflex is right behind this, like part of this same like booth area, but just a different table. And so we had completely overlooked like the rest of the games on the other side. And they were really awesome. So this one, Children of Saturn, is like found footage like about teenage girls just like growing up. They on the Steam page they said growing up under an orange sky. And so you're just like sort of getting into trouble with your friends at the start. It was kind of like an on rails demo. There were just little things
just
you
like
could
hanging
do
out with
to
your friends.
interact. Like you would do some dialogue choices, and you would I had to fish out like some cigarettes and like find where in the room they were. And then it just sort of like, shows a few different scenes of these girls like hanging out, getting into trouble. You do the graffiti. You could, do whatever you wanted up on that billboard that Nate showed a picture of there. And then it was cool. A later shot, you're looking out your window in your room, and you can see like actually what you wrote on there. Except I wrote really small, so you could like barely see it. But I thought that was really cool. And then it slowly sort of just like devolves and gets like really moody, and there's like footage of like fires. And
so speaking of, I guess we didn't die, huh?
Didn't die?
The fire.
Oh yeah. IRL. But so it's it's giving that sort of like world's ending, hanging out with your friends. Like I don't know exactly what's gonna happen later on, but it was a really cool demo. And I was super glad I found it. It has that same vibe of like Lost Records was sort of our point of comparison.
I was talking to someone that was working the booth. They weren't someone who worked on this game directly. It was kind of cool. The booth had like devs of each of the different games just kind of lingering, but they were like talking about all the other games that were under the label too, which was really cool because this person came by and was chatting to me about this one. And the thing that I think is really cool is that they were the way they put it to me is like 2000s aesthetic in today, because it does take place in 2020. I could see there on the screen it says 2023. Like it takes place in modern times, but you're using a VHS camera, and you know what I mean. Like you're kind of in that old school aesthetic, but it is in today's world. So I thought that was really cool too. Yeah, one of those that like There's another game on this list from Black Lantern Collective that we thought was there and we are sad it wasn't. That like looks so creepy and unsettling. We'll try to get that name towards the end of the show, but
keep an eye on that.
Yeah. Again, former Dread XP. So if you like what Dread XP has been doing, it's another one.
You might like this.
You get another, same energy.
Okay, my second one is a game that is already out.
Oh, where is it?
I don't know where it was. It might have been before.
I thought it was on the last day.
I don't know.
Oh no, it isn't.
Might have been third day.
Second day.
Second day? Was it that early? Well, my second game is Arctic Eggs. This is one that I've watched a bunch of I've seen a bunch of videos where people are like, this is such a cool game. And it totally has the vibes of the stuff that we play. And it's just one of those just kind of weird core games. People will ask you, the dialogue is so weird, and people will ask you to cook something however they want it. So one of the first things I think in the demo that drops is an egg drops into the pan and then a cigarette drops into the pan with it. And they want you to cook the egg in the cigarette. And so there's weird stuff like that. I think Fish was saying earlier, cook the beer, cook the bullet. And yeah, it's just very strange and satisfying. Cooking, you have to keep it in motion to cook, and it's so sensitive,
and you gotta do flippies.
You gotta flip stuff over to cook on the other side, and it'll fly out. But that one was I kind of knew this was gonna be my shit, but I locked in on it. I was this is my shit. I'm probably gonna buy it and play it now, because it's already out.
I think it's a short game too, so
I would not be surprised. Yeah.
And then your game of PAX West 2020. I'm actually surprised. I thought it was gonna be the first one. I didn't see this one coming from you.
Well, here's my reasoning. So, do you want to find it first?
Yeah.
Here's my reasoning. My game of the show, I'm gonna say, is Militsioner. I still don't know if you say the R or not. But it sounds French, so I'm not gonna. This one, I played what, second day, and
yeah, it's actually Tarkov.
And it's one that I don't know, I was kind of nervous going into, I didn't really know what the gameplay was like, or if it was gonna be something that I was gonna enjoy that much, and I did. And it's one that I was the way it ended made me want to come back to it. Not a lot of what we played, I would say, made me feel oh, I want to keep going on this right now, or I could come back to it and do it better, sort of thing. But I did have that compulsion with this one, so that's why I'm gonna say it's my game of the show. Like Nate was saying earlier, there's this giant officer in the sky.
Yeah, so I just have the setup in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's just that it starts and it literally says you are a nobody. You don't do anything. And yet somehow you've been arrested. Mm-hmm. You need to get out of town. And then you start and the cop is holding you by your collar, it seems like up in the sky and when in his hands, and he's like, did you do this? And he asks you all these weird questions. He goes, don't blink and answer my questions. And he's like, are you, do you usually wake up this early? You're like, yes, no, you can say whatever. Then it's do you drink coffee or tea? And you answer. And no matter, almost feel no matter what you say, it says, he is suspicious. And then he goes, okay, you got to stay in town until your trial, but I'll keep an eye on you. And then he puts you down. And then you're just kind of free in this town, and the game tells you to run. And you could take over now. I just wanted to
okay,
do the setup.
Yeah, so then you're just exploring through the town. You go and you encounter this window with like a person whose face you can't see, their arms sticking out of it. They like give you some advice like, oh, there's this train coming later, but you need to get a ticket. And so then you have to figure out how to get the ticket. You are like picking up stuff in the environment. There's like food items that you can pick up, and it says there you can give him an item.
And
one of the interesting things is that the things you do and the things you say, the things you give him, like affect his mood and his like status. Like it'll say like you said, he's suspicious, or like he is happy. Like one of the first things I think I got that when he was holding me up there.
yeah.
When I said like, did I drink tea or something? I think he was like, he is happy. And I was like, oh, I kind of like, I want to make him happy again.
You're like, wait a second.
It like gives you this good feeling, and he like does a little smile at you. And so yeah, you're just running around like trying to figure out this train situation. There's like sort of like sneaking, like I was up in the vents at one point. There are a couple other people throughout town who, you know, like treated me like a criminal. Like why would they unjustly arrest somebody? Why would they do that? They wouldn't do that. That never happens.
And so you kind of had a leisurely stroll. I think you did eventually.
I got into some trouble.
You got into some trouble, but when I played the demo, I immediately broke into someone's house, grabbed a brick, and threw it at them, and they died.
Oh.
And then I left, and I could hear someone go, "Oh God, there's a murderer in this town." And then I heard the cop go, "I'm gonna investigate this." And then he went looking, and then I'm like running around, and I'm like, "Oh God, oh God, oh God." And then he goes like, "Hey, you, I want to talk. Don't worry, there's no like claims being made, but hold on so I can pick you up." And I'm like, and then he picks me up and he goes, "Did you do that?" And you bring up the dialogue, and the option is no, lie. And then I said that, and then he goes, "Well, is there anyone that could attest to where you were at that time?" And I tell him someone who I'm like, "I was there right before I killed this guy." And then he goes over to the guy, and then they're like, "I don't know who that is at all." And I'm like, oh. And he goes like, "Hold on." And then it says like, "Hold on, you're under arrest." And then it like gives you an option to try to run. And he grabbed me, he yoinked me, but
get yoinked.
Yeah, it's just a surreal, immersive sim vibe where the whole time you know there's this guy that's just looming in the sky who's watching you, watching your actions. He reacts to things that you do. There was, you know, at one point in the beginning of the demo, I think it just happens no matter what. You pick up these bricks to like break out of the area you're in the beginning, and he says, you know, "Oh, interesting. The subject has picked up something from the environment."
Yeah.
And so he's watching.
He's like studying you.
He's watching everything you do.
Yeah.
And so the thing that I think you were hinting at that made you compelled to come back was after Julie went to jail. I think you just stole something, or like you had like walked into the restricted area or something.
I think it was when I was trying to get him the donut, right? And I think I threw a brick at the window. I broke the window trying to get a donut to give to him because he said he likes donuts.
But that's against the law.
And then I had to go run and hide, and I couldn't find somewhere to hide, and I got yoinked.
And what was I gonna say? Oh,
the thing at the end.
Yeah, is you got to jail, and then a screen pops up at the end, and it says, "Upgrade the giant." And I was like, huh? And then it suddenly becomes clear that this is like a roguelike, where every run changes future runs, where it changes what happens in the world. It changes what happens to the giant himself. I think the demo on the floor was time limited, where it like cut you off after you went to jail, or it even glitched a little, I think. Mm-hmm. But in mine, I actually went to jail, and then I got to that screen, and I got to start a new day. And he had me again, and he goes like, they think I'm stupid. They think I'm foolish. I'm not, and I'm not going to be a nice guy anymore, blah, blah, blah. And then he puts me down. And so it's like, even the way you treated him in the last run is going to carry over into future runs. And I thought that was really, really interesting and kind of different for this kind of game.
Yeah.
And yeah, I want to potentially see about romancing him, because
It does say you can do that.
there's like romantic routes, there's romantic feelings, there's hearts on the feelings screen and stuff. So I'm definitely interested to see where that goes. We're probably gonna say a lot of the same things. This is one of the games we're gonna do a video on, so we're probably gonna say a lot of the same things.
And you better watch anyway.
But yeah, congrats to Militsioner. Yeah, I'm super excited for it.
This has a playtest right now.
Yeah,
And I'm in it. I got into it immediately.
yeah.
So
Check it out.
you
I
might
think
be able to get in fast if you want to.
I need to look back into it. I think there is some amount of NDA, so I've played the playtest. So I'm not going to say anything about it, but so bear that in mind. But